So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining. My name's Josh. So today I wanted to go back a little while and talk about an old video that's on the channel. The video itself was of, I believe it's called Epic Barber Chair or something like that. I'll try and pop it in the video description. But basically, long and short of it, it was a video of a pretty big mistake that I made whilst on a tree cutting job. That I've never really spoke about it or discussed it or explained it. And I've had loads of people reach out and sort of ask, you know, what happened, what caused it, and you know, all those kind of things. So I just wanted to sort of reach out and yeah, come on here and give you a little bit more information about it and sort of explain why it happened and sort of what went wrong. So we were working on a large ash clearing job up in Hampshire for a private client. We were basically there, we were contracted in just to fell a lot of high liability risk trees, all of which were ash trees. The dieback in that area was pretty bad, so unfortunately there was quite a lot of trees that had to come out, but that's what we were doing now. So I had a little bit of experience walking up into it. Also, sorry if there is a bit of background noise, there is a bit of work that's going on outside, so I do apologise if you keep hearing that. But anyway, so the long and short of it, the long and short of why it happened, is it was my fault. Completely my fault. In no way, shape or form was there any other contributing factor to it. It was completely preventable, didn't need to happen, and it was simply down to lack of experience, lack of knowledge, poor use of equipment, just overall in every way, shape or form, it was my fault. So first things first, the chain on the saw was just chronically blunt. Some reason I was being lazy, no two ways to put it. It was the last tree of the day before getting ready to pack up and clear off. So I was just thinking in my head, just get it done, get it down, then we can get off home. It's a completely wrong attitude to have, especially in that industry. You know, you just can't have that attitude towards it, because that's when things like this happen. Excuse the dog running about as well. Hello, mate. Hello. Yes. Hello. Yes. Okay. Can you go away so I can finish my? I'll come up here and lay down. Good boy. That's it. Stay there. Sorry. So yeah, chain was just blunt. You could ride bareback Jericho on it. So that was first things first. The tree itself was a very tall, fairly slim tree, around about 20 inches in diameter. It was basically positioned between two beech trees. So the tree itself had grown very tall and upright with no lower branches. It was actually a really lovely trunk, as nice as they come, to be fair. And what it had done, it shot right up to, so that the top, because obviously they was all competing for light, so it shot right up until it's breached the canopy of the beech trees, and then it's plumped out at the top. So there was a little bit of weight on the top, but again, nothing drastic. But a very simple tree, very simple fell. Yeah. But my lack of knowledge and experience had led me to assess the tree completely wrong. When I initially looked at the tree, I thought the tree was leaning back against the way that I wanted it to go. So I wanted it to drop out between these two beech trees because we were trying to minimise damage. But I thought it had a bit of a lean in the opposite way. So that had kind of led me down the path that, you know, I needed to help it over. So that was the first big mistake, and that was the start of many. So then I went round and I started on my gob cut, normal gob cut, you know. The moment my bar hit the tree, I knew that it needed sharpening. But like I said earlier, I didn't bother, I just carried on. Fought my way through it, put the gob in. So that now the gob cut was slightly shallow, but again, it wasn't really an issue. If all of the other factors hadn't have been there, the tree would have felt, you know, perfectly fine with it being on a shallow gob. So popped my gob in, come round to the back of the tree, started doing my back cut, just a standard back cut. There's no bore cutting, nothing like that. It was just a standard. So I've come about a quarter of the way through, and then I put in my wedges, following my bar through, and I've started to, you know, to lean the tree over, and I've started putting pressure on these wedges, but not just a little bit of pressure. I mean, I was beating these things in there, because again, in my head, I'm thinking, oh, it's coming back. I didn't want it to sit back on the saw. I didn't want it, you know, blah blah blah. Again, complete lack of experience. So was doing that, and then those two things, so the pressure on the wedges and the blunt saw, were basically the two fundamentals that caused it. Because if the chain had been sharp, the speed of the cut would have been much quicker, so I would have got through the tree much more efficiently, much more effectively, and I would have probably released the fibres. You know, it wouldn't have had a chance to split upwards, because I'd have been able to follow through on the cut quick enough to keep up with it as to avoid the split. But obviously it wasn't, so it was taking me a month of Sundays to actually get through the tree. And then when I sort of reached probably, I don't know, about probably just over halfway through the tree, I'd put so much pressure on the wedges that I had actually started to lean the top out, and then obviously as I was going through, the top has started to want to go. So the top of the tree has started to go, and where there was still so much holding wood left on the bottom, it had then basically found the path of least resistance and split all the way up. Now, ash trees and other species such as aspen, that kind of stuff, they're fairly prone for splitting, although it is a hardwood. Ash tends to have a fairly straight grain structure, so in circumstances like that, the grain of the tree will actually delaminate very easily. You know, in other species of trees like oak and all of that, the grain structure it doesn't run so straight, it's much more curved, and you get a lot more sort of integration within the grain. But ash trees, yeah, generally speaking, you do get the odd, you know, some of them aren't, some of them don't run straight, but generally speaking, ash on a whole has a fairly straight grain structure. So prone to splitting anyway. So yeah, the top of the tree started to go, and the cut just couldn't keep up with it. It couldn't release enough of the holding wood that was still there fast enough to keep up with the top that was falling. So therefore it basically just acted as a giant hinge, and then the tree just split, and as you can see, it catastrophically just ripped right up the tree. By the end of it, the sort of split, or the chair that was left on the stump, was probably, I don't know, 15, 20 feet tall. So it was pretty epic. Bloody lucky to be is the brute, you know, lucky to walk away from it with no injury. Bit of a dampener on the ego maybe, and some maybe a new pair of underpants, but physically absolutely fine. Now, obviously, I've had so much, or I say so much, not so much, but I've had a lot of stick ever since I posted that video. I've had a lot of people, you know, making comments and all those kind of things. You know, people telling me that I should be embarrassed, this, that, and the other. I should be ashamed. I'm not embarrassed in any way, shape, or form. You know, I don't like to give the sort of perception that I think I'm a professional, because I'm not. I'm just simply someone that's doing a job. We all make mistakes, and to be quite frank, one of the, you know, the biggest reasons that I'm not embarrassed by it is because I learnt from it. So it was a massive learning experience for me, one that I found very valuable. I'm very glad that I videoed it. I'm very glad that I posted it, because, you know, at the end of the day, I found it very useful being able to, you know, I'm one of those people that when I watch something, I can see mistakes, you know, that I've made. So for me to be able to go back and watch it, even, you know, straight away afterwards, I sat down and I watched it back, and I'm like, what are you doing? You know, what is going on? And I'm literally, this is 15 minutes after it had happened, I'm sitting there slating myself, thinking, you're a plum. You know, you've done this wrong, you've done that wrong. I could see everything there, clear as day. So really glad that I captured it. I'm really glad that I shared it, because in my head, if that can help one person to not make the same mistake, then it's worth that all day long. So yeah, I'm not ashamed by it. I'm one of those people that first-handedly, I will hold my hand up and admit when I'm wrong. I can take criticism, I can take abuse, all that kind of stuff, you know. I knew that I was going to get hounded on it, but at the end of the day, if I wasn't prepared for that, then I should never have, you know, posted it on a platform. You know, I knew that I was going to get that. And to be quite frank, if I was watching the same thing, I'd probably say the same. So I'm not mad. You know, I really appreciate it, and I really enjoy it when people take the time out of their days to watch, you know, the videos. I love it when people comment. I love reading the comments. I love replying to them. You know, I enjoy that. So yeah, it's none of that bothers me. But the main thing that I took away from it, and that my hope beyond posting it, was that, you know, you can learn something from it. You know, and I took that and I moved forward, and I managed to change a lot of the ways that I did, you know, change the ways that I did things, change my attitude. Yeah, so at the end of the day, it was a valuable experience. It was a lucky experience, but, you know, at the end of the day, a man that's made no mistakes has made nothing at all. So, you know, we're only human. We all do it. Nobody's perfect. And like I say, I don't portray myself to be. But, so yeah, that was why it happened. The be all and end all is I was a sausage and it was my fault. Lack of experience, poor maintained equipment, you know, lack of knowledge, just, yeah, 100% my fault, completely avoidable. But we move on. So I hope that gives you a bit of insight onto you know, why, and answers a few of your questions. Obviously, if anybody has any more questions about it or whatever, you know, please feel free, drop me a message, drop a comment down below, whatever, and I'll be sure to reply. But yeah, thank you for taking the time. Thank you for sticking with us. I know it's just been a lot of talking, and I hope it's not been, you know, just too boring. But nonetheless, I appreciate you popping in, taking the time out of your day to watch. So, hope you all have a lovely day. Take care, and we will see you on.